Okay, with page 9 we move on not only to a new page but to a new section of the review. We start with chapter 6, which is all about inequalities. Once again, left side, right side. I'm going to end up having you do number 2 after I've explained a little bit about number 1. You can tell that it's a little hard to see on the screen. Hopefully on the actual document that I gave you it's a little clearer. Not only that there's a point here at -3, but that things to this side are shaded in. This is the area that's supposed to be indicated by the graph. And what you're supposed to do is tell from the graph, the fact that all of this is dark here, from there over, what the inequality is. Well, first of all, one way to look at it is that all the stuff that's x, and I haven't done that on here, but maybe I should write it on here. All the stuff that's x, if you want, you can write x right above the stuff that belongs to x. And clearly x starts here, but that arrowhead over here indicates that it doesn't end on the right side. So x basically goes from here and just keeps going on forever in this direction. So x is more than that number, and that number there clearly is -3. So x is more than -3. But I underline the arrow to say that it's greater than or equal to -3 because this dot is darkened in. When it's darkened in, you underline the arrow. So in this case, it's greater than or equal to -3. So go ahead and label graph number 2, and I'm going to move on to the next slide. This time I'm going to give you the graph. This time I'm going to give you the inequality, and first you're supposed to solve it, which means just get x by itself, and then you're supposed to make your own graph. Right now it says x plus 5 is less than or equal to 4. We want x by itself. That means I got to move that 5 out of there. I subtract it away, just like I would if it were an equation instead of an inequality. I subtract it away on both sides, and that means the left side's just going to be x, the right side's going to be -1. We haven't done anything to change the direction of the arrow. Arrows only change if you multiply or divide by a negative. Here we were subtracting by a negative. No change in the arrow. So that stays the same. It just is plain old x on the left, and 4 minus 5 is -1. And that's all we needed. So now, how do you graph that thing? Well, you find the point on your number line where you would find -1. Because the arrow is underlined, you color in that spot, and you want everything to the left because x is on the smaller side. So in other words, to the left of -1. So I go to the left of -1. Now I want you to go ahead and do the same activity with number 4. If you need help tomorrow in class, I'll be happy to show you, and I'll also show you we'll talk through the answers if you have any questions about it. Next one's the last slide on this page. You're going to do number 6. I'm going to do number 5. Number 5 is a lot like number 6. Once again, I want x by itself, and I've got other things going on. This time 2 things. X is being multiplied by 3, and also there is 2 added to it. Well, PEMDAS says you start with parens and end with addition and subtraction. But when you're trying to solve, you're trying to undo. So you start at the opposite end, and you get rid of the addition and subtraction first. So I got to get rid of that +2. Subtract it away from both sides. That means on the left I'm just going to have 3x, and on the right I'm going to have 14 minus 2, or 12. Once again, I haven't done anything to change the direction of the arrow. It stays the same. But I've still got 3x on the left, and I want x. So I got to divide by 3. Both sides. That doesn't change the direction of the arrow either, though, because it was +3 that I was dividing by. So I've got x on the left and 12 over 3, which is 4. So what do we have here is x is greater than or equal to 4. How do I graph that? Find the spot for 4. Because the arrow is underlined, once again, I'm going to color in the circle. X is on the larger side because it's on the open end of this arrow. So x is everything to the right side there. The way to think of this, if you want, is to say, if x is more than 4, well, if that's where 4 is right there, x is this stuff to this side. and then you can just draw your arrow. That's it for number 5. Go ahead and do number 6, and this is the end of this video, and we'll move on to page 10 with the next video.